All right, we're going to talk about combining like terms, order of operations, single term distributive property today. Let's do it. Just a reminder, I'm going to go at a normal pace, but if this pace is too quick for you, remember that you can pause it. You can go back to a different part of it by quote unquote rewinding it. Do what you need to do to understand the material. All right, so in order to distribute, let's go over the difference between these two things. X times x, this is x squared. What you basically do is you're going to add the exponents. I'm going to abbreviate. Add the exponents. There's a 1 on both of those. But if you look at x plus x, you add the coefficients. Think about this. A spoon plus a spoon is 2 spoons. All right? There's a 1 on both of these. So here we're going to add the coefficients. Now, the coefficients are just the numbers in the front, in case you don't know what those are. Okay, so you add your exponents when you multiply. A spoon times a spoon is weird, right? Who does a spoon times a spoon? So that's why we have x squared. But a spoon plus a spoon is 2 spoons. All right, notice that this didn't change, it stays the same. So spoon times spoon times spoon, or x times x times x, would be x cubed, because there's a 1 here, and you add them up. But x plus x plus x, going back to my wonderful spoon example, 1 spoon plus a spoon plus a spoon is 3 spoons. So be careful with those. Students miss those quite often. It says be careful though. You can only add and subtract like terms. And here's what that means. Combining them. Adding or subtracting terms that have the same variable. Sometimes variables, okay? And they have to have the same exponents on them. So I'm just going to write same exp, that's same exponent right there. So let's talk about some examples. I'll give you a couple. So obviously 3 plus 2 we can do because those are like terms. They don't even have any variables. They both have no variables, so they're like terms. We could do 4x plus 6x because both of those have an x as a like term, so we could put those together. And I don't know why I keep using addition. Let's use some negatives. So I could do negative 2xy plus 4xy because they have the same letters, the same variables with the same exponents, both a 1. You could also do, let's see if I could squeeze one more in here. So we could do negative 8x squared z minus 5x squared z. Those are also like terms because they have the same variables with the same exponents. So let's talk about unlike terms. So I couldn't do 4 plus 2x. Okay? The 2 has an x, the 4 does not. You can't put them together. That's like saying a fork plus a spoon is what? Well, hello. We all know a fork plus a spoon is a fork plus a spoon. You can't put those together. I guess there are sporks, but that's besides the point. You could also say, let's see, we could do 2xy plus 3y. Be careful. This has an x and a y, and this one just has a y, so you cannot put those together. Negative 8x cubed y minus 3xy. Be careful here again. This one has a cubed on it and this one doesn't, so you cannot put those together. So just be careful to, really pay attention and see what are like terms and what are unlike terms. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can pause it and you can go back and you can re-listen too. Don't feel like you need to keep pace with me. That's what videos are for. So here we're multiplying. So if we go back in the notes, we know when we multiply, we're going to add the exponents. So 1's always there if nothing's there. So this is x cubed, or x to the 3rd power. But here we have x squared plus another x squared, which means we have 2 x squareds. Remember, these you put the numbers in the front, the coefficients here, you add those up instead. Here we're multiplying again. And now if you're getting confused as to why this is true, like look at this first problem here. X squared is x times x. And then I'm going to bring this x down. See how you have 3 of them there? So that's why it's x cubed. Over here, you can look at it the same way. I just say add the exponents, but if you want to look at it this long way, you can too. So x times x times x times x times x is x to the 5th. And I do cross my 7s like that, so hopefully I don't confuse you guys. 4x cubed minus 5x cubed. Let's think about 4 spoons minus 5 spoons. Well, you're going to be negative some spoons, right? 4 minus 5, negative 1, x cubed. That's it. Remember, if anything, if I'm going too fast, you could pause it and you can go back too. Remember, if a number is on the outside of a parenthesis and it is multiplying, you must distribute it to everything on the inside. It's a party, guys. Make sure this person mingles with everybody. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 7 is 14. And these two are not like terms, so we're done. Same thing here. There are 3 terms to mingle with, so those are going to have to be multiplied, those 3 terms. So negative 6x squared, and then watch out, negative 6 times negative 2, positive 12x. Notice that we're just bringing that letter down with it, right? Negative 6 times x squared is just negative 6x squared. Let's do this last one. Negative 6 times positive 3 is negative 18. Do you see any like terms here? Nope. It's because there are none. Boom. Now here we're multiplying in a variable. And this gets a little tricky for some people, and that's why we talked about that up at the top. What's x times x cubed? How many x's you got there? You're multiplying, so remember, you've got to add those exponents. So that's going to be x to the 4th. Remember, there's a little 1 there. X times x, add those exponents, x squared. And x times negative 5, just a straight up negative 5x. Done. Okay, moving along. Our goal is to be able to do the order of operations, okay? And it might be helpful if you could see my whole screen here. There we go. So order of operations is PEMDAS, and you do parentheses, but you do everything inside of them first, okay? And you've got to do the full order of operations when you're inside a parenthesis. Then after you do that parenthesis, you take care of all your exponents, and you multiply, divide left to right. This is the most missed thing. Matter of fact, I've seen stuff online where people have talked about it lately. This is the most missed thing. You have to multiply and divide left to right. You don't do one before the other. You do not multiply and then divide all the time. You go left to right. So what I like to say is, you don't necessarily have to do it for addition and subtraction, but I mean, let's just keep it simple. Go left to right. It's going to make your life easy. So we're going to take this one here step by step. So parentheses is first. So I go inside the parentheses and I ask myself, is there an exponent? And yes, there's a 5 squared. Now remember, 5 squared is not 5 times 2. If I wanted 5 times 2, I would have said, hey, what's 5 times 2? So it's 5 times 5. So that's 25. Now, in my parenthesis, I still say what's next. Okay, we have a multiplication and addition. Multiplication comes first. So if you need to use a calculator, because you don't know this one off the top of your head, that's fine. But 6 times 25... matter of fact, let's just do it. Boom. 150. Still working on the parentheses. Need to do the addition. So we have 150 plus 3. Now look, we've done everything inside the parentheses that has to do with the parentheses, so I don't need the parentheses anymore. Add that 7 to it, and you've got a juicy 160. We're going to do the same thing down here. So going left to right with multiplication and division, left to right, the first thing we run into is 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Then you do your 2 times 2, which is 4. Be careful. A lot of people do this one wrong. They'll do the multiplication before the division, but do not do that. You have to do it left to right. Left to right. It is seriously missed by adults, too, whenever they've got to do courses. Okay, so looking at this, I don't have parentheses, but I do have an exponent, and that's next. So 3 to the 4th. 3 to the 4th. 81. So we've got 81 divided by 3 minus 1. Order of operations says division is next. So 81 divided by 3 is 9. And then we do 9 minus 1, which is 8. Over here, we've got a parenthesis. We work on the inside first. Don't worry about that little 2 on the outside there. We're working on the inside first. Multiplication comes before addition. So I'm going to do my 2 times 3 first, which is 6. We're still working on the inside of that parenthesis. So we're going to do negative 5 plus 6, which is 1. Again, the parenthesis is keeping things out right now. And look, it's keeping out this exponent of 2, and it's keeping out this 2 on the outside, which is trying to multiply on it. Think about the order of operations. Does multiplication or exponents come first? Exponents. So 1 squared is 1. Now we can do the multiplication, and now we can add these together. And I think, yep,